Welcome to The Explainer. If you're in quality assurance, listen up, because your job is changing, and I mean fast. Today, we're going to break down why the traditional QA role is kind of fading away, and we'll give you a real, practical roadmap to not just survive, but absolutely crush it in this new landscape. And we're going to do this by looking at the story of Rody. Now, Rody's a test automation expert, a 13-year veteran of the QA world. He saw where things were headed and completely reinvented his career. And yeah, his warning sounds pretty intense, but trust me, his journey is the perfect blueprint for what you need to do next. Okay, let's dive right in. The first thing we really need to get our heads around is just how quickly the goalposts have been moving for QA roles. Seriously, it feels like there's a ticking clock. I mean, you can really see the evolution here, can't you? Not that long ago, being a manual tester was the whole job. Then, bam, you had to learn automation. After that, it was, okay, great, you can write scripts, but can you get them running in a CI/CD pipeline? Rody was watching all this happen, and he realized the next leap was going to be huge. It wasn't just about the pipeline anymore. It was about understanding the entire infrastructure that everything runs on. And look, this is not some sci-fi future we're talking about. Rody is super clear on this. This is what's happening in the job market right now. The days of just being the automation person, well, they're numbered. You have got to bring more skills to the table to stay in the game. So why is all this happening? What's the big driver here? Well, it all boils down to a major flaw in the old way we used to build software. It created this giant wall between teams. And Rody, he was right in the middle of this. Picture this. He's at a company with no real test environment. Staging was pretty much just production. A mess. So finding a bug? An absolute nightmare. Because by the time QA flagged it, the developer had already switched gears to 5 other things. This whole slow, expensive, frustrating process, that's what people in the industry call the wall of confusion. So what's the fix? It's this idea called shift left. Instead of treating testing like this final checkpoint at the end of a long road, you integrate it all along the way. And what that does is create this super fast feedback loop. Developers find out about bugs while the code is still fresh in their heads, making them way easier and cheaper to fix. But here's the thing. To really shift left, you can't be stuck waiting around for some shared staging environment that's always broken. And this leads us to a game-changing idea: ephemeral environments. Just imagine, for every single code change, you automatically spin up a brand new, perfect, complete copy of the entire production environment. You run your tests, get your answer, and then, poof, it disappears. This is the holy grail of modern testing. So Rody had his light bulb moment. He realized that building these environments, that was the key. He knew he had to upskill, big time. But his first crack at it, well, he fell into a trap that I think a lot of us can relate to. You know what he did? He went and took a course on Kubernetes here, a course on Terraform there. He learned the commands, the syntax, but when it came time to actually solve a real problem, he was stuck. It's like the courses taught him what a brick is, but not how to actually build a house. And that is the bigger picture that so many of these one-off courses miss. It's not about memorizing commands for one tool. It's about understanding how they all fit together. Think of it like an assembly line. Terraform lays the foundation for the factory floor, setting up servers and networks. Ansible comes in and sets up all the machinery. Docker, that's your packaging department, putting every app into a standard container. Kubernetes is a logistics manager, making sure all those containers are running smoothly. And Jenkins? Jenkins is the foreman, automating the entire process. And right there, that is the difference. Understanding that whole complex picture is what separates an engineer who's feeling vulnerable from one who's getting calls from recruiters every week. That's where the real value is now. So what happened with Rody? The payoff was just insane. It was so fast, he put in the work, built a real project for his portfolio that showed he got the whole end-to-end thing. He lands an interview, and literally 5 minutes after he hung up, his phone rings. It was the offer. He was hired, just like that. Okay, so here's the key takeaway. Think about it. Once you learn a testing framework like Cypress, picking up the next one like Playwright, it's not a huge leap, right? You hit this framework ceiling. But learning infrastructure, that's a whole other ballgame. It is way more complex. And guess what? In this market, that complexity is precisely where your value comes from. Listen, hiring managers are not impressed by 10 different Hello World tutorials on your GitHub. What they want to see is one, maybe 2 really solid, meaty projects. Projects that show you can pull together different tools, the whole shebang, to solve a genuine real-world problem. Like building the infrastructure for those ephemeral environments we talked about. So let's talk about the future. How do you make sure these new skills don't just become obsolete in a few years? Well, it's all about understanding where we, as humans, fit in. Especially now, with AI getting better and better, these big picture architectural skills are becoming absolutely critical. Let's be real for a second. AI is already getting pretty darn good at writing basic test scripts. It can handle the tedious boilerplate code. But you know what it can't do? It can't architect the system. It can't design the complex, interconnected infrastructure that all those tests need to run on. That is where we come in. That's the new human value.
So, no, the QA role is not dying. It's evolving. It's transforming. Your value isn't just about writing the tests anymore. It's about being the architect, the one who designs the entire testing strategy and actually builds the world-class infrastructure to make it happen.
Okay, so this might sound like a lot. Where do you even begin? You don't have to boil the ocean. Rodi's advice here is golden. Start with what's closest to you right now. Take a look at your company's existing CI/CD pipelines. Really dig in and understand them. Start playing with Docker. A great first project? Try to copy an existing pipeline and just add one simple new test stage to it. That's your foot in the door. Look, Rodi's story isn't some one-in-a-million thing. It's a blueprint. It's a clear, proven path from being a QA engineer who's worried about their job to becoming an indispensable, future-proof architect of quality. The path is there. The only question left is, are you ready to start walking?